And we also have Mr. Ajay Saxena, who is sector head of MITRA, Maharashtra. Dr. Saxena, I would like you to comment on what you and Maharashtra is doing by using IT, IoT technologies for the good of the society, particularly in terms of water.
Hello, good afternoon. So, first of all, we should understand why do we do this. Because I've been listening since the time I've come here, that Bihar presentation was one of the best when they showed according to that. So this is what the technology has to do. And if it is not able to do, we don't have to use the technology. So the technology, when we started, it was from the, like, how can it better my work? From those times onwards till now, we have reached to a stage where we are now doing, instead of reactive, we are doing predictive. And if we are not able to do predictive, then it is just a small thing in the whole set of system that we have added, and then we can do something more. As far as what all can be done, before that, in the last 2-3 presentations, which were more of the status of their organizations and what they were doing, most of these slides I was looking at, and I realized that everybody is talking about data is very, very critical. So there is no doubt about it. This is a very common sense general knowledge that for anything data is important, but how to collect the data? We talk about the remote sensing, we talk about the GIS, we talk about IoT or the things, but till the time you have a baseline data, nothing is going to help you. So how to collect the baseline data, and how, where the technology helps you to collect the data and also then starts developing the model based on the data, which gives you the predictive or the futuristic this thing, which is again a very common sensical general knowledge thing, which is like in our old student days also, if you have to do a statistical model, you have to do a 30-year past data. So it is always the, from the past you start and how to do the next few things. Technology, why do we use that? And then I'll come to what all we have experimented with, because this is to be, whenever we talk about, these are very jazzy words, everybody starts talking about IoT. Most of the people half in the room might not be even aware of what is specific in the IoT. And is there anything different than IoT means? What is the IoT? So many of you may not be even knowing that it is IT and the OT and the, then what is IT, then what is OT. So if we do only the small common sense things, which is like, first of all, the data, how to collect the data. So you have to do something which is on the pilot basis. Most of the water sector projects are under the ground. The problems happen under the ground. Over the ground, you can always see that this is going to get the cracks. So you can go and fix it. But under the ground, the most of the water problems lie under the ground. So if you talk about the non-revenue water, if you talk about the leakages, if you talk about anything which is going to happen, so this is mostly the underground. How do we do this? In the CPHU manual that I was the part of drafting, we said that you should do a performance-based small projects, a DMA level projects, so that you can award the projects on the basis of performance. At the same time, write the TOR, the terms of reference for the developer, and it should be a small time contracts. Don't go for the large time contracts, and collect the data, ask them to do the GIS based networking, and then club it with the futuristic technologies like AI. And how the AI would help? AI should be used to use the things that, okay, what is the futuristic demand that might come? AI should be used that the earlier presentation in the morning was shown that this is going to happen in next 72 hours. And AI doesn't help, AI does not work just like that. AI works on the basis of decades of data of that region, and then develops a scenario that given the circumstances, this is going to happen because that's what something happened similar to that based on the earlier date, based on the statistical data analysis that they have done for the past 3-4 decades. Specific to Maharashtra, this thing, if we do this. So, how the technology helps? The technology should help you either in the one of the 2 to 3 things. One is either it is able to reduce the cost of your implementation or your planning. It is going to do, or it is going to give you a better sense of planning, that you are able to do good plans, and that's why again optimize the cost or increase the revenue. And the third thing is that can it help you increase in the revenue. And all the things, why? Because any sector, the viability or the feasibility has to be tested if it is to be made sustainable. Now, in the, let's don't talk about the revenue because of the flood and all those situations coming in this sector. So for the time being, we are not talking about the revenue, but how to optimize the cost. And if the technology is not able to do that, then what is the use of the technology? In the particular sector, I would like to add one more thing before I jump to the things what we did. In your sector, in this particular sector, technology, most of the time we believe that the technology is coming and then we don't have to do anything. This is a very, very false statement, a dreamy thing which is not going to happen. In water, the traditional things have to be done. At the same time, the technology should help you in bettering the performance or optimizing the cost. Optimizing the cost or optimizing the energy requirements or or balancing the demand wherever it is existing. Most of the water sector projects you would find, if the internet or if the technology was used, it was basically in the SCADA system, and that was very good, and everybody should do it. That is the starting point. Because of the SCADA and because of the baseline data if you have, then you apply the SCADA, and then you can see that whether which zone of a particular, you can do the demand management and you can do the supply management because of you know that where the demand is going to come or where the demand is exceeding and you can predict something is happening. In Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation, this was done some 10-15 years back, and I was fortunate enough to see their control room also at that time, and I was slightly involved in that project, and whereby from their control room itself, they used to monitor on the walls, and they used to see which filter plant should operate at what time and which pump should be operated and which should be closed. We saw a picture in one of the presentations whereby the greens and the red pumps were shown, which is operational and which is not. This is actually being done from I think the gentleman who has shown this must be doing it the same way. This is done with the use of technology. You are sitting in a room and then you are managing the water requirement at the place where it is mostly required. So this is how we should do it. This is what the Navi Mumbai Corporation has done it. In the second stage, in the futuristic, what we are doing is that we are trying to map in the wastewater sector, in the circular economy, we are going to map all the STPs existing and the SDP which are required, the drainage network on the basis of the satellite data and with the use of GIS. And also we are trying to map another layer of the users, so mostly the industry or the thermal plants or something, so that a GIS based modeling can be done, and basis which the network can be planned in a manner that the cost can be reduced and unnecessary pipeline should not be added. Another thing what Maharashtra is trying to do, and these are all not in the integrated manner or in the holistic manner, but in the places where somebody thought that it should be done. And I have come across that technology. Most of like I started with saying, water sector has a problem in the distribution network the most. And the distribution network is under the ground, so you don't even know how much pipe, how many pipes are to be, where the leakage is happening, why the NRW is coming, somebody has pumped the water from inside, or some leakages or the damages are happening. So there are startups, and this is where again I was looking at the slides where we are talking about all those jargons that the robust policy should be in place or all those things. But then we should be working on what specific policy intervention we require. if I have to be asked, and on this particular specific platform which is talking about the futuristic generative AI-based IoT-based technology intervention in the water sector, these are being handled by the small kids, means the young generations and the startups. Have we ever thought about a policy intervention that can allow them to come without going through the rigorous process of procurement, whereby you want a particular person or technology provider should have 10 years of experience? Some technology which was developed only 2 years before cannot have a 5 years or 10 years of experience. So we have to do the policy intervention at the place where the changing world should be accommodated and the newer things can be accepted. So there is a technology person who has been doing, I think there are 2-3 companies in India, they have come here. They have a robo system which drills the pipe at a specific location, and the AI driven pipe, the motor goes to the inside the drainage network and detects it. It has a diameter, it has a laser network or something which keeps on monitoring or detecting the leakage or the damages if or the corrosion if it is happening. And then 500 meter on one side and 500 meter on the other side, that's the kind of a range that it operates. So within 1 single hour or 2 hours, you can do the condition assessment of your underlying asset very accurately, or to the extent, let's say 90 to 90% accuracy level, so that you can now, if you want to structure a project, you can go with the good cost estimates, and chances of you either going for very short of the estimated cost that is to be spent, or going over the board, which the developer or the contractor will never come and tell you that 300 crore cost is not required, only 200 crore is required. And if it is a lesser cost that you have estimated, the project is going to fail. This is all where the policy, the technological intervention should come. Now the AI is very useful. We have seen in our, even in the small letter drafting also, somebody must be using the chat GPT and the some other AI engines also. But if you start asking him the relevant questions, and if you supply them the data, they will give you the predictions which is going to happen in the next 5 years or 10 years or something. Some 10 to 15 years back, I received a delegation from the Australian High Commission, and whereby they had the technology which could tell you that in the next 6 months this is going to be eroded or this is going to be damaged. So if we have those things in place, this is where the technology can help. In Maharashtra, some concerted efforts, and in the, you can say, in the integrated manner, like with the wastewater recycling that I've told you, we are doing it from the center level, from the this thing. And at the municipality levels, they have been using SCADA. Most of the people have already been using. I think this is not a new thing now. But this predictive robo-based AI generated, AI-driven robos which can give you the condition assessment of your pipe. And don't do a project which is like, this is the technology has come, so I can do a 500 crore project because the technology supports me. Please don't do that. Technology supports you if you have a data. So do a small project of, let's say, 20, 50 crore of a particular DMA of 1,000 connection, and then do the mapping of your assets, then collect the data, and then collect the, and also try to sample that, try to collect that or select that particular DMA which is a fair representative of your city, so that if you have done some sample, you can do a complete assessment. Not the complete means the estimated assessment to a fair level of accuracy.
Thank you, Saxena Saab. You have given a good insight into use and misuse of data, or how much data is to be used, how much it should not be initially, and particularly mentioning about the problems of the underground, use of predictive analytics, how it could be used. He has raised a very valid point about how in government system or procurement system you can introduce the startups who are really doing very well. I think this is one point which is a good takeaway for all of us, that those who are particularly in the government, we need all the legacy experience and conditions and so many, where really a lot of good things are being done by young upcoming startups. And how can we help and give them, because only government sector is there in such fields. where they can really take advantage of these technologies. Of course, GIS he mentioned, GIS is the, as they say, the single source of truth, and almost all technology, digital technology, whosoever is using GIS mapping. So thank you, Saxena Saab.